Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another Supatease video. And unless you've been living under a rock since 10.0.7, you probably know what a Ret Paladin is. This specialization has been the most overpowered I have ever seen a specialization in the history of the game, and I've been playing since TBC arenas. Season 5 Death Knights don't hold a candle to how powerful Ret Paladins currently are in this patch. Maybe even possibly Legendary Dagger Rogues and Cataclysm couldn't even stand up to the might that is Retribution Paladins in 10.0.7, or possibly even bugged abilities like Stampede on Beast Mastery Hunters and Mists of Pandaria. This has been an unstoppable behemoth, absolutely destroying every single match in a singular night between 10.0.5 and 10.0.7. Retribution Paladins in PvP shot up over 1,000 rating on average. Just astronomical results as a result of this current rework, and it has created a lot of dissonance in the PvP community, especially when it comes to balance, because a lot of players are fed up and frustrated with this, facing paladins that were previously maybe 1,500 rating, now steamrolling them at 2,500 rating, seemingly with no contest. So finally it's being addressed here. We got a first round of nerfs that seemingly didn't do too much. We got the Dispel change that again seemingly hasn't done too much, and now we're getting a third round of changes. So is Blizzard going to be coming in here with Lucille Negan's baseball bat and be smacking down Ret Paladins like he did Glenn's head in The Walking Dead? Because that's what we're really waiting to see here, because obviously we don't want Ret Paladins going back straight into the bin, but the godlike status has to come down a little bit. It's just a little bit obscene. So let's see what they've got for us. Hopefully it's going to be something good that allows them to still be competitive without absolutely destroying them. And if you want to stay up to date with news and changes related to World of Warcraft, entertaining and funny videos, then make sure to hit the subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated. So Blizzard has announced that Retribution Paladins are overperforming in damage and defensives, and so they will be nerfed very shortly on live servers. So very shortly, I would imagine they want to get these nerfs in before the tournament, which is something to take into consideration as well. That's this weekend. Blizzard, with a hotfix that will be deployed to live environments shortly, we are making the following adjustments to Retribution Paladins. Damage. Retribution Paladins have been overperforming in terms of their damage output, so we're making some adjustments here to bring them more in line with our intentions. All damage reduced by 3%. Is there a phrase that's lighter than a slap on a wrist? Is that like, you got away with a slap on the wrist? Like, is there something lighter than that? Because this isn't really targeting any of the specific areas where Ret Paladins are kind of one-shotting people. If anything, I'd rather their overall damage stay high and they nerf the damage within their cooldown window and buff the damage outside of it. I don't see this having really any noticeable result. Instrument of Retribution duration reduced to 9 seconds from 12 seconds. This change does absolutely nothing, at least for PvP. This is when an ally dies, you're going to get wings for 12 seconds, unless there's some other way to access that ability, which maybe there are. Ret Paladins, let me know. If there is, then it's going to be a minor 3-second reduction on that Avenging Wrath window, but I don't think there is currently, at least in Arena. So honestly, these damage changes... Okay, what is this last one? In addition to this, we have a hotfix coming at a later date related to Execution Sentence and its unintended interactions with various damage boosts. So possibly Execution Sentence is bugged. Okay, so hopefully it gets looked at. Let's see about defensives. Maybe they're bringing down your defensive capabilities, because this damage is like not even a scratch. Defenses. One of our major goals with the rework of Retribution Paladin was to give them a significant boost to their survivability. You definitely did that, as this was an area where they were previously underperforming. We overshot the mark here, and Retribution Paladins are proving to be more durable than we intended. As such, we are making some defensive reductions to bring them more in line with our intentions. Fading Light. Blessing of Dusk causes your holy power generating abilities to also grant an absorb shield for 3% of the damage or healing dealt, down from 10%. So pretty significant change here, over 50% reduction. Aegis of Protection increases the value of Shield of Vengeance by only 10%, down from 20, so it's going to be more likely to be able to break the Shield of Vengeance. And Shield of Vengeance will also only last 10 seconds, down from 15. So if you decide maybe to crowd control the Paladin, move on to something else, you're not going to have to wait 15 seconds before it has dissipated. Lightforged Blessing now heals you and your party for a maximum 2% of maximum health, down from 3%. Again, still very minor. This does make me wonder if they are afraid to over nerf Retribution Paladins, given the fact that the history for Ret Paladin has not been good. It's either like crazy up here or just absolutely down in the dumpster. So I'm not really surprised to see them be very light-handed with these nerfs. The survivability ones are a bit, I would say, more moderate in terms of the direction, but these damage changes are really not addressing the core problem with Retribution Paladin, because in my mind, Retribution Paladin is not really even scary outside of Avenging Wrath being active and Final Reckoning being active. Outside of this window, it's very lackluster in my opinion in terms of how much damage it does. But now Avenging Wrath lasts like 30 seconds and it's only a minute cooldown, so it's up half the game. So you're more than threatening half the game, and then not really doing very much for the other 30 seconds. So I was really hoping to see some PvP specific changes to Final Reckoning or to Avenging Wrath, whether it be its duration of those effects or maybe their overall effectiveness, their values, and then maybe increasing the damage of their other abilities outside of that window, as opposed to reducing their damage as a blanket, because you're still going to get one shot. 3% on the one shot is not going to stop you from getting one shot. Just means that they're even more or more or less useless outside of that window. So while I appreciate them, wanting to tune it slowly here, I think that this is honestly a little bit too slow. And now that we got the tournament coming in on this weekend, if this is all we're going to get before that point, given the fact that it's like one more day, what are you going to do? I think the teams have probably at this point prepared either to have a Ret Paladin or to somehow combat it. Whatever that happens to be, I'll be interested to see if somebody does manage to find something to combat it that isn't a Ret Paladin themselves. It's likely going to continue to be dominant, and especially because the season is ending as well. So competitive integrity for the tournament and for the end of the season is kind of on the line with the changes that are moving forward. So it's a fine line that they're walking right now between, completely destroying the spec or getting it back in line with other ones. And it isn't to say that there aren't even other specializations that are deserving of some tuning and adjustments, whether it be buffing or nerfing, right? I think Arms Warriors are definitely outstanding. Demonology Warlocks, Beast Mastery Hunters. We have other specializations, healers, right? Mistweavers. We don't even have any talk of them. Arresto Shamans at this point in time. So even if they do bring Retribution Paladin down, there's likely to be other specs that are almost immediately going to be problematic, because they're very close to that line, just not as much so as Retribution Paladin. So in my mind, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done in terms of PvP specific tuning. So honestly, I wish that there was more on this specifically. Maybe we can get a hotfix that's for PvP only. It seems like these changes might be addressing only PvE. Did something go on in PvE? I saw someone tweeting about a 5 Ret Paladin Mythic Plus or something. Maybe that's what's triggered this or sparked this. I'm not sure. But in terms of PvP specifics towards the end of the season, especially the end of the tournament season, was really hoping for some more, specific tailoring similar to what we had seen up to this point, because everything seemed like it was going to be moving into a really good direction, assuming that had kept going. So would have liked to have seen more. Respect that they're not trying to completely demolish the spec, but still would have liked to have seen more. Other than that, what do you guys think of the nerfs? What do you think of the changes here? Moving on here for 10.0.7, do you think I'm on the button here? Do you think I'm totally off base? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.